The Fortune engine itself stands before you, an enormous, malevolent presence that fills the test chamber ahead. Raymond pushes forward, leaning in to study the control console with a look of determination on his face. I will close the rift, I just need... He bends over the terminal, frowning. His eyes dart from readout to readout as you watch the blood drain from his cheeks. What's wrong? Destroy the thing before she comes back. I can't. He gestures at the technical readouts on the Fortune engine's monitors. There's a one-way flow of astral energy moving from the inner walled city through the tunnel. I know what it is. Gobbert wrinkles her nose and gets a faraway look. She sways for a moment and speaks as if in a dream. I can feel it too. The energy is coming from the people that she's feeding on, their essence, their spirits for lack of a better word. She sways a while longer, a puzzled expression on her face. If I destroy the machine now, it will collapse the tunnel. All of those people will have the better part of their essence, what makes them who and what they are, trapped inside with her forever. Thousands of people condemned to an eternity with that parasitic thing. Seems like a necessary sacrifice. Do we have another option? I mean, I'm not above sacrificing a few thousand people, right? I do it. But do we have another option? Raymond squeezes his eyes shut, works it through. Yes, someone could enter the tunnel, close the rift safely. The people would be saved, restored to life in the real world. And what happens to the person in the tunnel? He stays there forever with her. His shoulders sag. There is no way out once the tunnel is closed. Well, Raymond. There is a long pause as the assembled groups digest Raymond's words. Duncan nods to himself, his jaw clenched. He pushes forward. I'll do it. Just tell me what buttons to press. Alright, you're... Goodbye, Duncan. I don't mind losing Duncan. The old man stares at the controls. Cold fear washes across his face. No, if anyone is to do this, it must be me. His voice strengthens and you can see the old fierceness rising from within, the iron will of your childhood. It will be me. Hang on a minute, Raymond. No, not Raymond. My name is Edward Zhang, and I built this machine. I set this avalanche in motion. Whether I meant to or not, it is my responsibility to stop it. He turns to you, a look of resignation on his face. That is what this is all about. What it's been about since the very beginning. Raymond, listen to me. You're too weak for this. Just tell me what to do. You know you can both go. You can both go and I'd be pretty happy with that. No, the Yama King could return at any moment. There is no time to teach you what to do in there. I must set things in motion. It must be me. Alright, go then. He turns to you. Goodbye, Simon. He smiles sadly. Thanks for coming to Hong Kong. Thank you for coming when I called. So long, little man. I owe you one for pulling me off the streets. We even now. It was my duty. I didn't want to be done. For what it was worth, I'm glad that I did. Goodbye, Dad. Alright, we'll call him Dad last time. Goodbye, Dad. The old man flips a lever and steps into the machine. There is a flash of light and Raymond Black is gone. You don't actually have a choice. You, as the player, don't actually have a choice. No matter what you say, he just goes in.
Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story. That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. My past is a terrible story. I didn't expect it to end with redemption. Sometimes the debts of the past can't be repaid. But we do what we can. I have done what I can to right my wrongs. And I accept the consequences.
what I'm thinking, what I don't understand is why didn't Josephine Sang shut down the machine a long time ago? Why didn't she shut this thing down a long time ago? Um, I thought that maybe the prosperity machine, like at the same time as focusing the negative chi here, that it was granting her some benefits in some way, but the story never said that. Like if that was happening, if the prosperity machine was actually the prosperity engine was actually working for her at the expense of the walled city, okay, I get it. I get why she wouldn't shut it off. But that wasn't actually the story at all. The story is just she just didn't do it. She just didn't turn it off. She just left it running, and a lot of people died for it. So why didn't she shut it off? Um, yeah, that's strange. Anyway, aftermath. You depart from the prosperity chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives, struggling through the panicked wave of humanity. You are able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Hioi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowd the streets, dazedly wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the Hong Kong police force, while knight errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. Oh, the cops moved into Hioi? There's a whole bunch of cops in Hioi? Ah, I wanted to make a deal. I wanted to make a deal with the Yama King. But the game didn't actually let us do that. You just have to like kill her 3 times. And that's it. There's no I wanted to like to trick the Yama King, because that's like that makes for a better story, right? Doesn't it? If you like, maybe we could have tricked the Yama King, and I just picked the wrong dialogue options. Can't be right though, can it? Damn it! You emerge from Kowloon Walled City to bustling clusters of activity. Refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes. Government troops deploying from armored personnel carriers. News vans setting up remote camera feeds while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcasts. The air is electric with the threat of potential violence as panicked peacekeepers eye the growing crowd of evacuating poor. Galbert's eyes dart furtively as she turtles her head between her shoulders. This place is hot, the cops are swarming to the place, and that APB is still out on us. Just take it easy. Try to blend into the crowd. I wanted to have a look around. Not the best time for sightseeing, SCKC. The place is crawling with badgers. Isabel lifts her nose towards a reporter interviewing someone from inside the walled city. Looks like we get to see a show, though. That reporter already has his hooks in someone, hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern like a coat of cheap deodorant. And is that when you started running? Why is it a white dude? What are you doing in Hong Kong, white dude? what are you doing here? Yeah, it was bad in there. Shooting, screaming, I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are people flooding out of the walled city, injured and disoriented? The man stares at the scene around him, bewildered. It's like everyone is saying, some sort of chemical leak. A drug lab exploded or something, caused mass hallucinations. The reporter turns to the camera and pretends to check his notes. There you have it, Sonny. Our third report of mass hallucinations and violence caused by an explosion in an illegal drug lab. And while reports remain sketchy, it appears that street crime is again on the rise. He half turns and sweeps his arms over the scene. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here as police and executive council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But in all this chaos, in the maze of poverty that is Kowloon Walled City, we may never know what really happened here. Back to you in the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes off and the reporter drops his facade. He ignores the bedraggled man beside him and begins packing up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scar. What are you looking at? You know that guy was regurgitating a line of corporate bullshit, don't you? Mass hallucinations, do you believe that story? There was no illegal drug spill. Mass hallucinations, do you believe that story? No, I don't believe that story. He laughs sardonically and continues packing. Am I wearing a t-shirt that says I'm a fool, feed me your line of corporate bullshit? No. But in my experience, the rest of the world is. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, all bought and paid for by the people pulling the strings. But you're part of it. You're reporting it. You're producing the lies that people see on TV. Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No eye contact. He remains bent over his equipment case. No, of course not, pal. You're different. The reporter finishes packing and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit of the street off his hands. As he does so, his eyes narrow. His gaze moves over your crew, flicking from face to face before eventually landing on you. Looks like you just came from inside, so tell me, what did you really see in there? A mess that Josephine Sang never cleaned up. A demon goddess named Tianya, she says hi by the way. The results of corporate greed on the little people, a machine that creates luck, the bad kind. I'm gonna name drop Josephine Sang, because I want to get her in trouble, right? A mess that Josephine Sang never cleaned up. He chuckles. Why am I not surprised? No one even remembers that she built this hole in the first place. Not that it would matter. Joe Zhang holds this town by the balls. That sounds fun. You know what, I'm just like... Nobody holds me by my balls. Am I missing out? Anyway. It wouldn't surprise me if she was running some kind of test in the walled city, like it's like their little petri dish, he snorts. Wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing blew up in her face because of low safety standards either. You know what? That is pretty close to what happened. They test food additives, body modifications, pharmaceuticals, whatever some junior executive can dream up. Nothing surprises me anymore. We can change that. He looks at you like you're from Mars. Good luck, you look like just the guy to do it. Aren't you a reporter? Shouldn't you be trying to inform people? You're in the 2050s, pal, not the 1950s. He picks up his gear and turns to go. Everyone on this island knows that my news service is just a mouthpiece for the Executive Council. Hell, if you look close enough, you'll probably find that it's owned by a member of the Executive Council. People buy what we feed them because the world is changing and it's scary. They feel small, they need scapegoats to blame and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. Yeah, that's an excuse. I think you're making things worse and you're getting paid for it. Yeah, no, that's just... come on. Stop making excuses. He points at the trid screen mounted on the side of his news van, and there's a prime example of an authority figure, Joe Zhang. Rising star on the Executive Council. Just look at her, spinning this to her own ends. Talking about the humanitarian relief effort she's mounting, you know. Your comm chirps its kindly chang. Go ahead and take your comm. I'm gonna go before the scene turns into some kind of riot. It usually does. Hello, Auntie. Don't hello, Auntie me. Are you mad, Auntie? Are you mad? I lost contact with the soldiers I sent into the walled city with you, and now these Sang assholes and government troops are all over the place. Get over here and tell me what the hell happened. What about the cops? There's still an APB out on us. Some mysterious benefactor lifted the APB on you. You can hear her suck on a little black cigar. We'll talk more when you get here. The comm clicks off. Oh yeah? The all points bulletin got called off? Isabel tugs at your arm, her eyelids at half a mast. I want to sleep for about a year. I'm heading to the big Texas, Simon. I could use some sack time too. I'll see you there. You better go talk to Auntie Seattle. Sure. I mean, I actually kind of enjoy Auntie Cheng. Basic emergency response supplies, low-end variety, used in impoverished areas. Watch Tridio. A Tridio monitor displays a live feed from the network newsroom. It's a standard split-screen talking head back and forth between a perky newscaster and a stately woman of indeterminate old age. The animated label under the older woman reads Executive Council Member Josephine Sang. And if you are just joining us, we are talking live with Councilwoman Sang from her office in Prosperity Tower. Councilwoman, again, thank you for being here to help us make sense out of the conflicting reports that we're getting out of Kowloon Ward City. Oh yeah, she's helping you, is that right? The older woman nods with queenly composure. Thank you, Sonny. I only wish that we were speaking in happier times. Of course, madam, this is indeed a stressful day for the citizens of the walled city, but who knows? The newscaster brightens, flashing the best smile money can buy. For one of them, it might be their lucky day! Stay tuned because we're gonna cut away shortly to this week's Gigaball drawing where some lucky winner could walk away with almost 1 trillion new yen! The newscaster returns her focus to her guest, a look of practiced concern back on her face. Now, madam, you were saying that this sort of situation is inevitable when the masses of underprivileged children are raised in a world without hope. Exactly, Sonny. Josephine Sang leans forward towards the camera. Without hope, these children are left to create their own opportunities the only way they know how, by turning to crime. They are often brought up in single-parent households without strong guidance to put them on the right path. They are surrounded by thugs and criminals eager to put them to work in all manner of unsavory activities. Are you talking about yourself? And it's events such as this one that call our attention to the plight of these poor children. That is why today I call on my Executive Council colleagues to join me in supporting a new project, Operation Hope. Under the auspices of this program, we will pull these children out of poverty and place them in loving, stable homes while their parents are rehabilitated, re-educated, and reinvigorated with a new sense of purpose. That's a disaster, by the way. Separating kids from their parents? I mean, the foster parents? I mean, I'm sure some of them are good people, but a lot of them will be doing it for the money. It's not a good idea. Like, you think the foster parents are better people than their original parents, and not all of them are gonna be. not all of them. Not even most of them, probably. Yeah, this sort of thing is a terrible idea. Like, because no one's gonna love those kids more than their original, like their real parents. Right. That sounds like a tremendous... It is, Sonny, and it will cost billions of new yen to support such a mammoth effort. But Sang Mechanical Services is ready to lead the way through our new charitable foundation, Sang for Hope. It's time for us to give back to the community, and... The newscaster puts her finger to her ear. Madam Councilwoman, I'm afraid I need to cut you off there. As always, you're doing amazing work for the people of Hong Kong, but... Her dazzling smile returns. It's time for Gigaball! The older woman smiles contentedly, of course. Again, thank you so much for joining us and offering your perspective. The newscaster checks the notes in front of her. We've been speaking with Josephine Sang, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and frontrunner to be the next chair of the executive committee. That's awful.